What is up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about playsets. Are they worth it? This is the return of the double rare tracker. Why I started this tracker back in May of 2021 is I heard that Weiss Schwarz playable cards get really expensive over time, that they weren't affordable, that it was worth it to buy these playsets because you get all the playable cards that you need. You could switch them in and out. And because of the price appreciation over time, that way you lock in the price. I wasn't so sure about that. I've always said that I would rather buy a couple sealed and all the cards that I would need to make a deck and swap in and out. I don't want to buy and have stuff that I don't use. Not to say that you couldn't just buy one of every card, because if you wanted to collect the set because you like it, it looks pretty, you like the anime, that makes sense to do. But playsets being 4 of every card, are you going to use 4 of every card in the future? If not, then for me, kind of a waste of money. What I did here was I went all the way back to Magia record of February 26, 2021, all the way to Tokyo Avengers, which releases today, and took a look at how much this costed. With Magia record, what we have here is double rare, rare, uncommon, common, climax common, climax rare listed out here for you. When I add that all together, I get $297.84 plus trial deck. I realized that I don't want to go through all that effort to do that. I did not want to do that at all. The value is in the double rare slot. I wrote this out here so you could see exactly what I did. So I went on TCG Player, got the double rare prices. This includes shipping. So I made sure to have shipping included in the price for all of them. And then after that, I just added $75 for the rares and commons, and climaxes. I got that $75 from looking at Magia record. You could basically apply that number to every other set coming out as well. And I know there are some sets where there's rares that are more expensive, uncommons that are really expensive. But if you add that shipping in and average all these different numbers out, it comes out to be about the same. There may be a little bit up, there may be a little bit down depending on the set, but in the end it gets close enough for this exercise. So when I took a look at the prices, what I'm going to say is anything under $175 for double rares is bad, since you add the $75 and you're at $250 for a booster box playset. What that actually means is over time, playsets were $350 with trial deck, then $325, then $300, then it dropped to $275, $250. I even see some people now selling playsets with trial decks for $230. So that's where we're at. So if your double rare is coming out at $175 and below, that is not a good thing. You definitely overpaid at that point. And remember, as time went on, as price points dropped, you need to keep that in mind. For trial deck playsets, I looked at TCG Player, Magia record is $20. If you were just to buy singles of it, not actually buy the trial decks, but buy the singles of it. You can also buy open trial decks at this point for roughly $10 as well. That is a thing nowadays. And the below exceptions will be called out. So what we have here is Data Live trial deck is way more than that $20 price point due to Kaguya-sama. Quince was not included in this. I skipped it because of the double rare plus slot. I kind of want to just focus on standard type sets. Data Bullet and Bang Dream were skipped since they were extra boosters, again, not a standard set. And then we have Hololive, that was skipped because of the sheer amount of trial decks in there. I didn't want to go through all that effort. Magia record. This came out on February 26th. This is the mobile version of it. As you can see here, we have the double rares and Felicia, my girl Felicia. I love Felicia so much. $17.97. She's holding up the fort on this one. Who doesn't love this girl? This girl is great. I love her. She has a passion in life to make sure she eats, and I can totally agree with her on that one. So $17.97. Double rare playset, as I said, anything under $175, not so good. This is $223.76. Adding in that $75, we get $299, I round up, plus trial decks. Not a lot of people were selling playsets of this. I don't remember seeing playsets, unless I was looking in the wrong place, people actually selling. That was like backpack sellers and things like that. They weren't choosing to sell playsets of this because they knew the set was not going to do well. If you love Magia record like I do, I think this is a total worth it to pick it up. This is before the surge in the collectors, investors, new people coming into the game. So with Magia record, good job. I think if you bought it for the 300, date alive, so much happened with this one. Do you remember that time period? I say that a lot when I talk about last year because so much has happened from March of 2021 to now. So much really has gone through the Weiss Schwarz community that happened. And what happened to Data Live? Well, what didn't happen with it? Well, we got a reprint, we got a restriction list, we're getting a set 2 for Japan. It comes out next week. The English version, more than likely for volume 2, is going to come out next year. And then, like I said earlier, the trial deck Toka, that thing is $16.96. So that alone, times 4, is super, super expensive. Terrible Spirit Karumi, which was your double rare of choice, got restricted. That dropped it from, at some point, being in the 40s, now all the way down to the 4s after the restriction. What we got here, the big card is Reliable Sister Katori, $6.99. Double rare playset, $122.32. Remember what I said about $175? So not so good. But when you add in the 75 and consider that Toka in there times 17 times 4, when you add that all together, not too bad. That is not too bad actually at all. You probably came in even. I know some people are selling playsets for more than 300 at that time, especially with the supply crunch that happened. Magia record anime set, another one of those ones. Felicia holding it up. I love it. I mean, that's awesome. This came out on April 23rd, 2021. First serial numbered set. People think it's Sword Art Online that was the first serial number set. Not true. This was it, and some people didn't even realize when they got a serial number on there that that was a serial number because it was hidden. It was like in the middle of the card, middle lower, like right above that flavor text would be on the Felicia if this were a serial number card. This isn't the serial number card, right? This is the double rare we're staring at. But Felicia, 1894, followed by Saruno, 1849. Huge. These are huge. And if you're thinking that after this video you should open some of this stuff to sell, just keep in mind Magia record wasn't one of those ones that it was super strong at all. Even though there is a decent following, it's not a huge following for Magia record. I love Madoka, but truthfully, when you take a look at the sets for Magia record and Madoka, it's not something to write home about. You're not selling these cards like every day. It's every month or 2 months you're going to be selling these cards. But overall, if you bought a playset of this stuff, I think it was worth it again. $272, add in the trial deck, you got it for $300, you broke even. And even then, when I say that, consider these are today's prices. It came out on April 23rd. If you had that set since April 23rd, I would imagine you would have had some good times with it all along this way. It's been over a year. You probably played some games with it. You probably had some fun. There was some meta fun that you could have had with this Magia record. Bofuri. This was the last set before the huge surge of players, investors, collectors, whatever you want to say, came into Weiss Schwarz during that time. This was the last set before that happened. So this came out on May 21st, 2021. It was special because it had 12 double rares, 2 of which is sold out now on TCG Player. So what we have here, the big one, is Battle Craftswoman Is. She is sold out on TCG Player, last sold $24. Giant Killing down there, $10, sold out as well. I remember when that card was like $6, now it's 10, and now it's completely sold out. So completely gone. I hear people like playing two-soul Bofuri, so that's where we're looking at here. And Multicolored Sally, $20. I freaking love that SP. So nice. Multicolored Sally, I just love it. Double rare, $471.44. Adding in that 75, we're at $547 plus trial deck, which trial decks are, if you want a sealed one, in the $30s to $40. That's what you're looking at. So Bofuri, humongous in that way. I expect to eventually see a set 2 of this series. I 100% think if there is a set 2, there will be a reprint of this happening. I can't see how it doesn't with the prices the way they are. It's just insane. Okay, there's no way. Why would you throw away money? Kaguya-sama Love is Ward, June 25th, 2021. This was an Aniplex set, which means no signature. There were no serial numbers on it, it was just no signatures. We have this added to a restriction list, and we see a set 2. Off to the side, if you look at this chart really fast, you're going to notice that Kaguya, even though she is card number 2 on the list as in price-wise, her picture is showing there, and you're like, off to the right should be pictures of cards that are the most expensive. And I will say, because of the set 2, series showdown between Genius's Kaguya will be taking that top spot very shortly. On TCG Player, you're going to notice that on the screen, you're going to see $15. If you go to TCG Player right now, it is $39.99. The reason I didn't change that number is because you could go on other websites and buy this for $15. Just a hint for people that want this card. I am not telling you to go out there and buy up this card. The reason being is more than likely there are people that have this. And after watching this video, that store could reprice this card to make it higher to reflect the TCG Player prices. I've made videos like this before, and that has happened within a couple hours. If this set gets a set 2, which it is, there is a good chance that if you keep pumping up prices of certain cards, that you will see a reprint. You did well at 300, 328 plus trial deck. The restriction hurt it a little bit, but with a set 2 coming out and what people saw in the actual set, it's moved up a bit more. The 7 Deadly Sins. This was finally when the floodgates of people opened up with Kaguya. It was on that cusp of the pre-order window with 7 Deadly Sins. You got the full punch in the face of pre-release window opening, and people definitely took advantage of that by ordering a lot of stuff. And it wasn't just a couple people, it was a lot of people. This was a lot of product that ended up out there. You can see that reflected in the double rare price. As you see below, came out August 6th. Set 2 was definitely announced for English. It is coming out in December. So double rare playset 107.96. Ouch. That is pretty low. Guild Thunder 448. Merlin surprise reveal 429. And then my boy Meliodas 398. So overall $183 for the playset, and there is a trial deck. You saw people, this is that set that people are like, okay, I'm gonna sell my playset for $250 and then $225 and then $200. People were making jokes about it. I think, did it actually hit $150? Did someone sell some for $150? I think that was a thing for a little bit. And it was only like a couple people, not even worth saying that that was the real price. But $200 was hit. You could see why that actually happened. But with set 2, people are picking up some of these double rares. So if you do want some of this stuff, maybe a playset's pretty good. I thought I saw someone asking for a playset the other day on Facebook. Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel Volume 2 came out on August 20th, 2021. With this set, there were no signatures. There were no serial numbers. The meta viability, not the greatest. We have Sakura here, 984 being the most expensive one. Wielder of the Jeweled Sword Rin, 318. Everything else combined together for a double rare playset, 111.32. In total, $187 for a playset. That is freaking nuts. That is super low. Next up is that time I got Reincarnated as a Slime Volume 2. This came out on October 8, 2021. It did have signatures, and it definitely had my girl, Milim. She came in here, $15.98, and Drago Buster Milim, $7.97. I love her so much. She has very cute moments, and I like the fact that it's Delicious Milim. Most expensive one off here to the right. Double rare playset over that $175 threshold. Overall, $254. Pretty nice pickup. I think if you got it for $250, you were solid. And I think most people were able to pick up on that price. If you paid anything over that, not so good. But again, you had some fun times, I would imagine, with this actual set. Next, we have Sword Art Online Alicization Volume 2. Came out November 5th. This was your serial hunting set. There were no signatures because of the Aniplex situation. You got serial numbers. It was serial number or bus or some fancy foils that had Asuna on it were Bikini, Asuna, and Alice. That's what you were looking for. And what you could see below was because of that, because the amount of people opening this thing, it got hurt real bad when it came to the playable cards. You have more collectors than players absorbing this amount of stuff. And at the nice end of it, when you think about it, if you're just a person that buys singles, overall really, really good. But if you're buying a playset, double rare playset, $98.36, $174 off to the right. If you bought this for $250, even $300, $275, $250, total overpaying on that one. It just sucks. It really sucks when you see that. I don't take any joy, happiness out of seeing that number. To me, it just reiterates in my mind that what I've always said all along made sense to me about how I want to spend my money. For the people that bought playsets, you've had that ability to play all this, swap it in and out, test it. As long as you used all those cards and had the most fun out of it, I don't see any issues. Yeah, you might be down $126, but if you had a fun time, I think that was worth the price of admission, right? That's what this is, the price of admission. For me, I would rather just save that money, open some product, or just spend it on something else. There's plenty to buy out there. But serial hunting, that's where it was at. If you got an Asuna, if you got a Shinon, you're looking at thousands of dollars is what people were able to sell it for. This set a horrible precedent for other sets coming out in the future, thanks to this set. Next up is RWBY. This set came out on December 22nd, 2021. It is not Aniplex, so it did get signatures. I think a lot of people are really happy to get this set because they're fans of it. Some other people were knocking this set because of the artwork, because of some of the voice actresses' signatures. But overall, it's pretty nice to have this set. It brought a bit of people in there. We also had the voice actresses of RWBY and Yang do a promo for Weiss Schwarz as well. So Pira, off to the right, is Fall Maiden's Vessel Candidate at $15.90. This is the card you want. The sad part about this card is it had an SEC version that's really inexpensive because it was lacking a signature. That was the bad part about this set. And what we have overall, 187.64, playset 263, and trial deck. So pretty good. I think if you were buying this at $275, which is where I thought around this time period people were dropping it to $275 with trial deck, that's what you were looking at. Rent a Girlfriend, February 11th, 2022. Big card over here off to the right. Everyone's Girlfriend, Chizuru. I say big card, it's not really that big. $3.99, double rare playset, $103.92, coming in fully at $179 plus trial deck. This is one of those ones that hurt. I told people that this was not going to be good. Other people agreed with me on the meta side anyways. Meta side, people were saying not good. I was saying this is not going to be good. You're just looking for Chizurus, girls, all that good stuff. And that's what it really came out to be. So people are opening this for the sign cards and shiny stuff. Playability wise, people aren't really going to buy for it. So anybody that bought playsets of this at a really high price, I would imagine it'd be kind of upsetting just because you're not winning too many of these matches that you're going in. I think you're playing this for fun. Do I think a Volume 2 will be coming? I like to think so. I'm watching Season 2 right now. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a real good time with it. When you think about this, at these prices, if a Volume 2 does come out, think like 7 Deadly Sins, these prices are pretty nice to be able to pick some of the better cards up at this time. I'm not saying it will. I just like to think in my head that there's going to be a set 2, and if that comes, some of these prices are going up. You saw what happened to Kaguya. I would definitely imagine there'd be some power increase to the set as 7 Deadly Sins is most likely going to see with Escanor. Mushoku Tensei, God, this is an amazing time. Jobless Reincarnation, March 11th, 2022. This thing is on the JP restriction list. More than likely, we will see that on the English list someday. This thing saw so much play at Springfest. If there wasn't the rule about this being trios and you're only allowed to have one set on the actual team, you probably would have saw a lot more Mushoku Tensei showing up. We have Talent for Magic. Rudy is taking the top spot, 1721. Roxy at 1097. Totaling all out to be 202.28 for the double rare playset. Over that threshold, 278 overall, and there is a trail deck as well. This is one of those ones I was saying that it needed a reprint. Booster boxes are like 70s, 80s, trial decks are in the 30s, and there was no reprint, more than likely because people held on to product and put it out as it was coming up. So that's why we never saw a reprint for something that was in high demand and super playable. Fate Grand Order, the movie, Divine Realm of the Round Table Camelot. I always hated saying that, so many words. June 17th, 2022. This is a serial number set that Dangerous Precedent that Sword Art Online created, transferred over to this set. This is the next set that had a serial number. People thought they were going to open this and sell this for thousands of dollars, matching like Asuna and Shinon, but that is not the case. The Lion King, which is your big card here, I would say is going to be your more expensive serial number. Bear of the Holy Lance, the Lion King, 640. 640. Bedivere, 496. We're looking at 129.56. 205 for a playset. Holy crap. We're down in the 200s. That's how bad this got. And keep in mind, this came out on June 17th. It's July 29th right now. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? No, it's not. July 15th, 2022. So came out just 2 weeks ago. What we have here is Hestia is Bestia, 1349. Human Activity Hestia, 552. Overall, double rare playset, $150.92. In total, 226 plus trial deck. If you bought this thing for $250, that's not so bad. Unless you consider what we saw all along was as time went on. And I will tell you, looking at TCG Player, how many listings of sellers selling these double rares there are, that 1349 is going to drop quite substantially from where we are today. So that playset number, looks good right now, but give it a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it might not look so pretty. And the very last one is Tokyo Revengers. Came out today. This set has a whole lot of dudes in it. I am not against dudes. I am a dude myself. What I will say is, with the amount of dudes in it, they could have put this in Weiss Schwarz Blau. I know that Weiss Schwarz Blau was just announced recently. I know Weiss Schwarz Blau is not in English, so this coming out in English, that's fine. Just a total joke on it, because on my Buyer Invest video, when I think about Tokyo Revengers, I think about how I look back at all these other sets with girls in it and how people collect the girl sets. Think Rent a Girlfriend, think is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon, right? Like you have these sets where the girls definitely help carry the value of the set. When you take a look at Tokyo Revengers, whole lot of guys in it. Right, Mikey is your big card, 1699. When you take a look at SP's Mikey as well, so we're looking at playability, we're looking at IP here, but what about that other part of the equation, the collector side? Well, collectors buy some of these cards with a bunch of dudes on it. We're about to find out real shortly if that's actually true. Playability wise, it's okay as well. I know people are saying this deck could do well. We'll see what happens. I know there's some other sets coming out that I look towards, Quins 2, that I would see more play than Tokyo Revengers. Well, we'll see. If you look on TCG Player right now for sealed product, it's in the 60s, the low 60s for this stuff. So I would imagine either people bought way too much of this stuff. Again, or there's not as much demand of it because of the dude aspect that I talked about, because of the playability aspect that I talked about. Right, so right now it's coming in $394 plus TD. These prices will not hold. This is just me putting it out there, and we'll see what happens in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 month after that. So 2 months out, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know. My final thoughts on all this. Would I buy a playset in today's actual world? So going all the way back, this is really the summing up of this. Back in the day, these playsets were really expensive, but a way to offset the price if someone wanted to open it to get the shiny stuff. People also, you figured out that this is a way to make a decent amount of profit as well. This is what's been going on. And before the rush of people coming in, playsets were totally worth it at a certain amount. Now that you see over time with all these people coming in, if you're buying playsets, let's say above $250, you're losing value is what I would say. So you might have someone you buy through that's like $300 when you could have been buying this for $250. And I know it's important to support local businesses, local stores. You have people that you go through that you've been customers for a really long time. Should I really be paying this price for it? The answer might be yes, right? Like they might be your friends. They might be someone you're loyal to. They might be your local game store. It could be worth it. To me, playsets totally not worth it when I could just buy these singly out. In regards to playsets, is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it at a certain price and depending on the actual set. You have to know that these sets are only worth picking up. These playsets are only worth picking up if they're playable and have a strong IP to go with it. I think the whole nostalgia plays a part of it in the pricing of playsets outside of meta viability. You need that meta viability to soak up some of the supply. That's the main idea here. You need people to be playing it to get that excess supply out of the market. And that's everything. Playsets. It was one of those hot topic issues back in the day, but hopefully these numbers prove out a certain viewpoint for you. You could agree with me on this one. You could not agree with me still on this one, whatever your choice is. But now we actually have numbers. We have data over a long period of time. So as always, have fun, be happy, and don't spend anything outside of your budget. Have a good one.